Yeah. But if you're building like they're on top of it. Something very good. Yes. Let's keep people okay. That's my favorite part. Oh, I'm the more like. Should have built it. I think this one. You can hear and then they have to do it. They can Oh, I know. I want to. That's the. I don't have to find out. Well, if I'm not in the bush. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the store 18, the Āliamanu-Salt Lake, Costa Village and Airport. This time, you have, board member Dr. Moore sing the national anthem. Guess not. You have the Navy supposed to be here and they were gonna guards and everything. They got canceled on because of this government furlough. These kids in the United States Congress, Democrat and Republican, they can't get things together for the people. So now everybody suffers. They're sorry for the people that on furlough now not going to get paid. So anyway, let's get on with this meeting. Can I get a Madam Chair and get a roll call, please?
Thank you, Chair. All right, we have 4 vacancies, so please understand it'll be a short list. Okay, first off, James Gower, President. Patty Igawa is here. Joseph Omura,
Here.
Chair David Yomes, and myself, Chandra. So we have 5, which makes a quorum.
Here we got a forum. How many fire department?
Hi, good afternoon. Dana Bjorn, Captain at Āliamanu Fire Station. The statistics for September is we responded to fires, 1 nuisance, 7 activated alarms with no fires. For other emergencies, 76 medicals, 2 motor vehicle collisions. Fire safety tips and announcements. Fire safety tip, seasonal decorations. With the holiday season just around the corner, consider fire-resistant, non-combustible decorations. Choose only Underwriters Laboratory approved electrical decorations. And follow manufacturers' instructions for installation and load. Use lights that are in good repair. Always turn off lights before leaving your home or going to bed. Power strips, surge protectors, and extension cords. Never leave candles unattended. Your lighters and matches categories from children.
Were there any questions for the fire department?
Thank you, Chair. Question for the lights at home. I've known some people to leave the lights on for security purposes, but it's an alternative to that or safer way to do that to deter the folks from coming in.
So this is a little bit more of a personal question. In my own home, I have sensor lights. That's a good way to deter people coming to your home. As far as seasonal lighting. a lot of people store them in their storage shed or the bottom of their ceiling, so there's usually a lot of lights that are out in the string, so that can increase the chance of arcing. So if you're leaving it,
Audience, any questions for the fire department? Thank you, Captain.
thank you.
Honolulu Police Department?
Good evening. Lieutenant Keone Hong, representing Pearl City, District 3. The area of responsibility is kind of small for this board meeting, but going over the stats for September, motor vehicle thefts, there was 0, burglaries, 0, thefts, there was 1. That was actually turned out to be a lost purse. I believe the female found it. And then car break-ins, there were 0. Cost of service in this area was 286. And just going over a case of notoriety, I guess, for this area that wasn't listed on the stat. There was a criminal property damage in the 2nd degree at Āliamanu-Salt on September 10th, 2025 at around 9:45 p.m. Suspect was a 29-year-old male. He used a gas manhole cover weighing about 11 pounds to shatter 2 large glass windows of the McDonald's. Workers called police. Responding officers broadcasted in all points Philippines with the suspect's description, and other officers in the area were able to see the suspect. Upon initial approach, the suspect took a fighting stance and challenged the officer to a fight. However, the officer unhooked his taser and displayed it, at which time the suspect complied to commands without having to actually deploy the taser. As a result, the suspect was arrested for felony criminal property damage, where the estimated cost to repair was over $20,000. Another might seem small to you guys, it's kind of big for community members and for us. We were able to tow an unregistered boat and trailer in the neighborhood above Ice Palace. It was like a month-long process. There's very difficulties with contracting proper tow, so we had to go through all kinds of paperwork, get a specialized tow company who agreed to tow the boat and trailer, as well as store it for the 30 days until we can, I guess, destroy the auction. But that's another thing we did in this area. The riser complaint, so that's one thing we were able to get it done. Any questions?
Or any questions for the Pearl City? Audience, any questions? So Lieutenant, you guys still have any problems with these tolls?
The boats and trailers, because there's kind of cross jurisdiction with other agencies. I think probably the DLNR, somebody actually supposed to do it, but they don't have the resources. But we do have. Abandoned vehicles takes a while, but they do address it. Yeah. So on the website, the city website, I recommend whenever we get abandoned vehicle calls for people to put in that information on there. And it is looked at, and we do communicate with the main person. That's who actually helped me pull the boat. That the main person who does abandoned vehicles, he also helped me with the boat, even though that's a little bit out of his jurisdiction, but he was able to contact other agencies.
Got it under control. Were you guys working with the actual toll company?
Yes, the APs. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lieutenant. Police station? Good evening. My name is Rosario Campbell. Stats for September. Aggravated assault, we had 0 compared to 0 in August. All thefts, we had 3 compared to August. All 2, 3. Burglaries, we had 0. August, we also had 1. Robberies, we had 1. August, we had 0. Sexual assault / rape, we had 0. August, we had 0. Simple assault, we had 3. In August, we had 4, so we had about 1. Thefts, we had 4. In August, we had 5. And UAVs, we had 3 compared to 1. And our service for calls, we had 541 compared to 530 in August. This is just for the areas of airport and. Or any questions for the police station? Audience, any questions for the police station? Can you have anything? Good.
Just a tip that they're trying to focus on traffic safety a lot. They've been talking a lot about road rage and things like that. They want pedestrians, especially to go back to basics. So a lot of times pedestrian accidents occur because pedestrians assume that they've seen. So what we're asking is when you're trying to cross a street or any kind of thoroughway, if there's a vehicle there, make eye contact. When you make eye contact, wave at them, make sure they saw you, and then cross. Even though technically any crosswalk, the pedestrian has right of way, that's not gonna matter if you get hit. Yeah, you don't need to be injured. So we're asking that you make sure that you guys make eye contact, wave, make sure they wave back, and then cross. That's a safety tip.
I just attended today and yesterday a traffic safety summit put on by the Department of Transportation for the state. Very thinking out of the box and getting ideas how we can address pedestrian and vehicle collisions. But thank you, Sergeant Lieutenant. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to community. Want we have someone in the community focus on that either opening and feel kudos to them as far as their work within our community that make us the best place to live, work, and play. This month goes out to the United States Navy. Fortunately, they couldn't be here because of this ridiculous. But anyway, I'm going to read the write-up for the United States Navy. The Āliamanu-Salt Lake Foster Village and Airport Neighborhood Board 18 wishes to recognize the United States Navy on their 250th birthday celebration. On October 13, 1775, our Navy was born. The Navy is a crucial branch of the armed forces responsible for maritime operations, safeguarding national interests at sea, and enduring maritime security. Over the years, the Navy has protected our waters and defended. We are honored to help commemorate the U.S. Navy's 250th birthday and celebrate this remarkable history and accomplishments. Our Navy is the best in the world, and they continue to preserve our national security. They protect our people's lives and safety, its sovereignty, its economic prosperity, and its democratic way of life. From both internal and external threats from across the globe who wish to cause us harm. We thank the men and women of the Navy for their service to our country. Your dedication to service speaks volumes of your commitment in protecting the United States of America. This board takes great pleasure in presenting the United States Navy with the of the month award certificate for October 25. Happy birthday and go Navy, booyah! And we do have a certificate for the Navy, and we'll be giving that at our next one. Let's move on our agenda with events and concerns. Madam Secretary, can you cover the Salt Lake Waterway update?
Thank you. Yes, we have for November, we've scheduled two events. It'll be with the Salt Lake Waterway, of course, and I will be emailing it. So anyone who is interested in getting the information, because I'll have the waivers also attached with the flyers, please leave me your email directly and I will get it to you. However, for those who are present, November the 8th is our dinky ball making and also our community cleanup. And it will be at the location of the Country Club Village along the waterway. Now, we will have a meeting on October 15th with Honolulu Country Club. And we are going to be reorganizing and restarting our Operation Clean Sweep project. With their collaboration, they finally agreed to work with us hand in hand and become a partner. So therefore, we're really looking forward to this revamp. So anyway, we're going to continue and finish off the year with this November 8th event from 1 to 4. Parking will be available at the Howard Schuman Bikini Street Park, but the Country Club Village is where we'll be doing the dainty ball making, 1,000 of them, and you get to play with mud. Okay, and then, so the second half of that will be 2 weeks later after we have the balls all cure, November 22nd, which is Saturday again, at 1 o'clock, we'll be doing the actual toss. So bring a tossing arm. Okay, but anyway, yeah, so whoever would like, the direct information, actually, email all the stuff to you, plus the waivers. Okay, thank you.
Any other events and concerns from the audience you want to bring up? Sorry, come up to the microphone.
Hi, my name is Landon Mauricio. I represent just the parade committee. Last year we threw the Salt Lake Mall Christmas parade. And I apologize, it's not on the agenda, hoping to be on the agenda next month, but just wanted to kind of give an update. We submitted a permit for the parade this year. So tentatively, it's on December 20th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. and it would start at Moalo High School and then go around the community. It's a little shorter routes this year, just from feedback of 8-mile route. But I can go over it.
Board member Joseph Moore, we disappointed in last year's parade. He said that he asked you to be Santa Claus and you refused. That true?
No.
Anyway, thank you.
Yeah.
Next month, we'll put you on the agenda and you can explain in detail
Sure.
parade routing and what's going on. Thank you. Oh, one question.
Thank you very much for being here tonight and
Yeah.
making that announcement and giving us more details, hopefully the next meeting. However, I wanted to know, how are you involving the community, the Salt Lake community in this parade?
Yeah, so actually we have, so we reach out to all the representatives again, and then a lot of the business communities, and then we also have, because the planning is a little bit further out with the school, we're trying to get their marching band involvement, and then some of the groups from last year as well. And so we have kind of a plan in place just for outreach and marketing with the participants. So the list isn't like set or sealed for that.
I asked this only because last year's parade,
Mhm.
I heard comments from those who did observe the parade going through the community, and they were disappointed.
Mm.
So, I just, if we're going to push it, let's do it
Yeah.
right.
Yes, no, for sure. And I think for last year, it was on the smaller scale just because we wanted to get one under our belt. And so this year, we're hoping to have more participants, different music. Mhm. There was, yes.
Wait, in 30 minutes, I'm gonna get one piece of candy. Me too. Yeah, so November meeting and can explain more in detail.
Okay.
And then finalize the parade.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, we're moving on to filling vacancies on this board. We have some people that did sign up for the board, and we're gonna call them up individually. First will be Douglas Kutipura. Up and explain, introduce himself and listen.
Chair Jones, members of the neighborhood board. As a former member of this neighborhood board, I would like to continue my duty to serve the neighborhood board. For the Salt Lake Āliamanu neighborhood board. Thank you.
Okay, board, with that said, Madam Secretary, can you read out the names, is yes or no? Or I nominate Doug Pudipuro. Secretary, can you read off the names, yes or no? Yes, to. Doug Pudipuro. To be part of the neighborhood board,
Okay, so we'll take a
verbal,
count here. James Gower. Hattie Igawa. Now you answer. Joseph Abora. David Jones.
Yeah.
And myself, Chandra Cunningham. Eight. The five. Yeah.
hey Doug, I guess we can take a seat. Welcome again. To Clarence Davis, you come forward, introduce yourself.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, my name is Clarence Davis. A little about myself, been here for a little over 3 years. I'm active military for the Army. I've recognized this board here this past year, and I'm a recent bachelor's in political science, so I'm always going to be involved in the community. Just watching throughout Olathe through all of the boards that's been going on and happening and getting involved with the community. I wanted to be a part of that. And just be a part of the team and to make the effective change throughout the community.
You think you make a nomination to have Clarence Davis as part of the neighborhood board 18?
Seconded.
We have a second, vote on the secretary.
James Gower. Patty. Joseph Amora. David Jones.
Yes.
And myself, Chandra Cunningham. Yes.
Welcome more Clarence, you take your seat, thank you. Okay, next will be Nancy Valdez.
The chair and board members. Nancy Valdez. Y'all ready for this? Actually,
You only have 30 seconds.
okay, so anyway, so I did have a question with people, so I know already. And I believe that I didn't know about the neighborhood board, how much of it. I thought it was just people and not knowing that there's HPV and all of those other boards. So, I see how much of the impact. I want to be part of this movement. Oh, and you were here 2015.
You thought we only come here to tell jokes? and-
Yeah, you know, I look forward to that. You know, your delivery is really great.
Nominate Nancy Valdez to take a position on the neighborhood. Madam Secretary, can I have a comment?
With David Jones first.
Yeah.
Joseph Obura. Patty Igawa. James Gower. And myself, Chandra, yes.
We have a forum, Nancy Valdez, please take your seat, thank you very much. Okay, let's move on our agenda. Yeah, we'll see if you'll be in the booth there once we start up again. Neighborhood commissioner, by the way, we all squared away, they all legit. Yeah. Anyway, moving on to a law statement.
Hello, Chair Jones, members of the board, and welcome to the newest members of the board and members of the community. It's me, Monica, I'm the Special Project Manager on behalf of the Department of Economy and Government Services to give you an update on both the New Aloha Stadium Entertainment District. I'm going to put my pretend hat on to be the male person. I'll give you an update on the stadium events. He is offline this week. So on September 25th, we did issue an announcement and our newsletter to share the good news that we did execute the first two agreements for the stadium development and operation agreement and the initial ground lease. So what that does is that gives Aloha Halawa District partners full license to move forward with the demolition of the existing stadium and the design and construction of a new stadium. So that's exciting for us. And as we shared last month, that means also that we're looking forward to mobilization of the demolition. We're looking forward to seeing the construction of the existing stadium by the December, January timeframe. So we'll start to see the big movement happening. In the time, it's the small mobilization, putting up the safety requirements, taking care of hazardous materials, ordering the big materials, capping and cutting utilities, and the additional safety requirements. Meeting agreements, the master development agreement, some easement agreements, our former ground lease are still in negotiations. We are looking forward to getting those executed in the next couple of months. That's not going to delay our construction. We're still on schedule. So that's the great news. And then as I put on my hat to be Chris Ayasu, the big events that we're looking forward to are the start of the swap meet at its new location in the Lower Halawa parking lot. That is going to happen next week, Wednesday. So October 15th, look forward to that. And then on October 25th, we're going to have the Aloha to Aloha Stadium event. For those who signed up for our digital newsletter, that invitation blast did go out, but you can also get more information on that at www.tmrevents.net. And what that is a big celebration with local performances by Ekolu, Ho'onua, Kenny Kapono and Friends, Brother Nolan, Manoa DNA, Havana, Kenny Minor, Andrea, Kanakapaya, the Makaha Sun, and Hawaiian Style Band. So it's a big musical event. It's on Saturday, the 25th. It's going to run from 4 o'clock in the evening until 10 o'clock in the evening. So do come out. The pricing is cool. There's a family pack. You can get 6 tickets for $30. That's $5 a ticket. The regular tickets are $10, and if you want to splurge and go VIP, those tickets are $79 and $149 for like a reserved seat. But other than that, come on out and celebrate with everyone, and I'm open to questions.
Board, any questions for the stadium? Audience, any questions for the stadium? Does this board have a discount in going to that event? No.
No, we don't. I'll just talk to some other people here. I have to go order my own tickets.
That's great. Construction hat on?
Yes.
When is, they're gonna start the process again as far as whatever you need to take on the
So-
whole stadium?
Yeah, they're already in the final process of getting their certification, so we can issue notice to proceed. They're going to start ordering all the materials, you know, because we said before, the materials are taking longer to come in, and that's why we're saying end of the year or beginning of next year. So, you know, getting plywood in, getting jersey barriers, we're going out to the utilities that they have to cut off. So they're gonna go cut the utilities and cap them, they can say they have to go to about hazardous materials from the stadium. We have some specs from where they finish and all of that. They do have cranes on island, but they're going to start getting additional big cranes so they can move quickly. But that's when we hope you're going to see the visible big stuff starting at the end of December, early January. We are going to start posting pictures as well of all of the other smaller activities that you don't see when you're driving by. Check out our website and the stadium website as well and start monitoring the work.
And last question, once it hot frames that you see in the parking lot, somebody told me that was for storage, can you?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's a nice thing, nice setup that we have for the swap meet vendors. For those who want it, those market huts are going to be sites where they can leave their goods and like And so they don't have to be bringing in tents, we'll have to bring all the materials. We can lease that space, it's gonna be secure, and then we just show up and then run the business.
Thank you.
Yep.
So, you know, the cake that we brought for the United States Navy and couldn't make the event because of the shutdown, so enjoy the cake. And wish them a happy birthday on next meeting. Moving on our agenda. Julian?
Hi there, I'm Iris Oda, filling in for Jim Llanos. I'm from the Board of Water Supply. So we usually give the statistics of a main break from the previous month. So unfortunately, there was main breaks in the neighborhood board. There was 4 of them. On November, September 4th, near 1584 Improved Cottage Street. On September 1st, near 633 Ahua Street. September 25th, near 2706 Hebe House Street, and on September 27th, near maybe plus 7C Navy Station Pro Harbor. I don't know what that means, but that's what it says here. So that was the 4 breaks in September. And just a general water announcement, that's the other thing we give. So we need your kukua now. So we're just looking to ask everyone to reduce your water usage by 20%. So the lower than normal rainfall and high water demand can impact our water supply. So while we're good for now, we are good for now, we have some simple ways you can help ensure that we have fresh drinking water now and into the future. So stuff like turn off the tap while brushing your teeth, washing your hands or shaving, shorten shower by a few minutes, use a garden nozzle on your hose, and irrigate early in the morning to reduce evaporation. So even these little small changes can make a big difference if we all do this. So let's work together, make every drop count. So of course, go to boardofwatersupply.com, which we have a lot of information on how to conserve water. And there's just a lot of information. So go to watersupply.com, have fun searching the site, and there's a lot of info there. That's the announcement, and that's it.
Board, any questions for the board? Audience, any questions for the Board of Water Supply? Thank you for filling in. Appreciate you coming this
Thanks a
evening.
lot. Thanks for the cake.
Board member award, it's informing me that yesterday was his birthday. Well, I'm kind of disappointed that I got the smallest piece of cake. Your board, anyway, moving on to the mayor's report.
It's this month's highlights from the mayor's newsletter, Oahu and all of Hawaii is farewell to a legendary musician who left a lasting impact on the island music scene. The newly inaugurated members of the Honolulu Ocean Safety Commission held their first meeting at Honolulu Hale, and Mayor Blangiardi welcomes the Harvard Bloomberg City Hall Fellow to Oahu to help with housing reform. And then the Honolulu Charter Commission seeks input from island residents about potential amendments to the city's governing document. And then the Skyline Service expands this month, like October 16th, from which include the Joint Base Pearl Harbor, Hickam, and the Honolulu Airport. The October edition can be found at the honolulu.gov/mayor/newsletter. And there's some department issues that was follow up. So the left turn signal installation, Chair Jones asked about the status of a left turn signal at the intersection of Āliamanu and Alalili Point in the Salt Lake Shopping Center. DTS responded that it is currently selecting consultant to perform the design for the left turn. In the interim, to promote safety, DTS will be split phasing signals Estimated time to complete the interim measure is by the end of November. And regarding the missing crosswalk on Āliamanu Street, Napunani Street, located near Mauna Loa High School's parking lot and the fire station, that was removed. HPD responded that on September 24th and 26th, patrol officers staged their subsidized vehicles after school and did not observe any pedestrian violations. But officers will continue to monitor the area. DTS also said that it has completed its investigation into the concern raised regarding pedestrian activity at that intersection. It's saying that if you observe any pedestrian crossing at that missing crosswalk, to call HPD. Illegal parking, a resident reported that parents are parking along the right side of the street while waiting for the school dismissal. Officer Noli Galika spoke to Chairman Young for clarification which school this concern was referring to, and it was Mauna Loa High School in the roundabout area. And so on September 24 and 26, they made checks and officers educated the drivers and gave 4 warnings for parking on the right side of the road. And then the illegal commercial business reported about, Chair Young reported about several residents are utilizing parking spaces to conduct buy and sell operations. DPP is unable to investigate because no address or location is given. So please provide a detailed description of the location in questions. HPD responded that clarification of the location of this concern Chair Young's related the area to King Street. So on September 20.26, District 5 made patrols. Officers did not observe any commercial business transaction at that time.
Like the city's report, Jerry Old said this, Jerry Old said that. Wasn't that you doing it? Anyway, I'm not satisfied with the report about these people parking on these cars that they're buying and selling and taking up space for the residents in Salt Lake. I made this complaint, I think, 2 years ago, and the mayor's office said they investigated, they couldn't find it, and provided them with license plates. These people continuously would park and take over the parking stalls, not only on our Lily Point Street, by the Salt Lake Elementary School in the park. They're now starting to take stalls on Bikini Street, and they're just not too happy about it. And we'll follow up and provide another list of license plate numbers and see where that. This is something that this neighborhood board should push for, because it's so hard to find parking spaces in Salt Lake. A lot of the people living in Salt Lake don't have a parking stall, so they're gonna hunt every time they come home from work. They're gonna make their rounds within the Salt Lake community, and sometimes it's a far walk to get home. So we need to stay on top of that. Got the city council members report.
Okay, can you add this, for the, I guess, the city rep? Can they check? I've had several bike riders, complain about, right after the stadium, if you go Malka side, there's a bike path that goes, starts from the state, the Pearl Harbor side, and it goes all the way down to Pearl City. They closed a lot of it for repair, but there's a spot just before they close between the stadium to, got the name of that road where 7-Eleven is, and then path gets blocked off after that. But prior to that, there's a bridge, a wooden bridge, and a lot of bikers are getting their tires. If something can be done with that bridge, otherwise, it's for bike riders. And so a lot of bike riders now, they're carrying their bikes over that bridge. I go jogging over there, And when I go jogging over there too, I can feel the looseness of the boards. It's kind of scary for me to kind of like run over there like I'm feeling like, ah, it's this board. Anyway, there's that wooden bridge there. They can check that out. And if they something about it so that the bike riders can go over there without having their tires flattened there. Because there's a lot of splinters on the wood is so old and stuff. And also to assure us walkers and runners that we're not going to fall through the water.
All of them. Do we have a question from the audience? Anyway, you know. City council members. Are you from there on the office?
Good evening, Chair, board members, and members of the community. My name is Linda and council members represented this evening. So we have provided a written report. If you did not get one, it's in the back. As well as, yeah, the council member did want me to provide a few things. So on page 426, we did provide a legislative update. It includes bills and resolutions that you may be interested in. If you have any questions, please call our office, as well as informational briefings that will occur during committee week, to include the bus route modifications to coincide with the launch of Skyline Segment 2 on October 16th and BP operations. The city's 2025-2026 childcare action plan and for the implementation of the HNL build permitting platform. So those links to the presentations can also be found on our report. Councilmember Cordero would also like to inform the community that the Environmental Services will be conducting smoke testing on the sand wastewater collection system area from October 13 to the 17th. So more information can be found on the last page of the report. Additionally, she wanted to remind the community that the Honolulu Charter Commission is accepting public proposals through November 7th. We'll also be hosting, or they are hosting, the information community info sessions for the community to attend. A list of the dates and times are in the report, but the closest one to our district will be Salt Lake District Park, and it will be on October 21st at 6 p.m. For the community concern, outreach efforts have continued, especially on Polo Road and Āliamanu-Salt Street. Individuals there are being offered assistance and services, but unfortunately at this time, they are not accepting those and have been declining their assistance. The events that meetings that council member has attended, including her travels to Yamaguchi Friendship Signing Agreement and the 2025 U.S.-Japan Sister City Summit as well. So that concludes my report. If there's any questions, thank you for having me. I'm about to take it back.
Board, any questions for the council member? Audience, any questions for the council member? Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's move on to Governor Green's office. One here, Senator Wakai's office. Daphne. Can use the microphone.
Can we make a statement that can be sent over to the governor's office? Because he's not here, so you know, if we could kind of state it. It's a mean one, though. It's a very mean question.
Okay, I will notify the governor's office. See if they can make sure they send someone to the next meeting.
There's nothing we can do then.
I see the state janitor back there.
Anyway, no.
You write it down to me and get it to me after the meeting. And go ahead, outside.
Good evening. Welcome and public meeting this board. Congratulations to the newly elected members.
So Ashley from Senator Wakai's office. This is an October report that I just submitted to the board. That I really do have copies on the back table. But um, the first thing that we'd like to highlight is Senator Wakai is very proud to announce the Pets in Prison program that he spent 2 years trying to launch. That finally happened last week, Thursday, where there were 5 kittens sent to the Women's Community Correctional Facility in Kailua. And this is, it's a new pilot program that we're trying to launch with the Hawaiian Humane Society. And the goal is to rehabilitate the women, as well as foster the kittens and get them ready for adoption. The program is called Transferring Animal and Incarcerated Individuals Lives, scale for short. And it's a year-long program. And if this goes well, we would like to try to issue hopefully puppies in men's prison if everything goes well. It's Senator believes that it's a very innovative, cost-effective way to rehabilitate individuals, as well as being good for the animals. The second thing I'd like to highlight is sports in Japan and Hawaii. So trying to foster that relationship between the Asia and Pacific markets. Senator Wakai, not sure if you guys saw Kansei Matsuzawa's jersey is written in kanji on his nameplate. At first, the U.S. Athletic Department, I think, was a little hesitant to do it, but now it's like a very hot ticket item constantly being sold out. So Senator is trying to push the market instead of chasing the money. Hopefully, we can expand our market to Japan and other parts of Asia, just to kind of broaden our market and hopefully get more engagement. Yeah, more talent and more engagement that way. And lastly, last month was September was fetal alcohol syndrome, spectrum disorder month. And senators were very strong proponent for early screening and anything really to help mothers and children. So that's the last part that we want to highlight there. Did you have a question, Mr. Mora? Available for any other comments?
Okay, can I, sir, Mr.
So
Okay, thank you. I have a question that I've heard from several people, and to me, I was kind of shocked. I thought I'd ask you guys this. The couple people from advertisers of the McDonald's, one of the guys said this, and also someone in my apartment told me, are we planning to make Hawaii a sanctuary state for illegal immigrants? Because there's word that it's on a bill, and Derek is imagining stuff, but until then,
So more, you didn't watch your Fox News movie? No. Thank you. Another question.
Thank you. So I like the tail idea. I was just wondering, it says secured 50,000. Is that, somebody donating that, or where's the funds coming from?
It was appropriated last year in the budget, part of the other.
Audience, anything for the senator? Yeah. Is he gonna push Daryl Gabriel's uniform too? Daryl Gabriel graduated from Mililani High School. You folks don't know, and he's starting this Sunday again for the Cleveland Browns. So one of our Hawaii boys doing good, so cheer him on. They go on to House Representative Linda Chiamo. House Representative Garner Shimizu.
There we go. Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Caleb Barney. I'm the office manager of Representative Shimizu. It's awesome to see everybody in person. I see you guys' names on emails all the time, so wonderful to get to put a name to or put a face to the email. Thank you again for the opportunity to share just a few updates. Most of what I'm going to share is our newsletter, but there are a few things that it's kind of hot breaking news that I am excited to share with you guys today. First up, Representative Shimizu joined Senator Brandon Elefante, Representative Sam Kong and Greg Takayama, and Council members Cordero and Nokimoto for a recent town hall at Ridge Elementary School Cafe. This event featured a presentation from Sharice Richards of the U.S. Secret Service, who shared very valuable information about scams that are targeting Kahuna and how residents are able to protect themselves. For those that were unable to attend, they will be broadcasting this town hall on Olelo 9. The broadcast dates are as follows. I'll go a little slower just in case you guys want to write it down, but it should also be in the newsletter. But it's going to take place Tuesday, October 14th at 8 a.m., Thursday, October 16th at 2 p.m., and Sunday, October 19th at 10 p.m. We definitely encourage community members of all ages to listen to this. Does put a high focus on public safety, especially as it comes to scamming. And there's honestly a few things that I saw that I probably would fall into. So definitely encourage everyone to tune into that. Representative Shimizu also is continuing or endeavoring to continue to stay engaged with the Salt Lake Waterway cleanup. The discussions alongside community members and the Honolulu Country Club. Although you will be unable to attend the next committee meeting due to legislative commitments, our office will review the meeting minutes and remain involved in ongoing collaboration to develop long-term maintenance solutions. This project will require continued coordination and commitment from multiple stakeholders to ensure the sustainability and health of the Salt Lake Waterway. In terms of community concerns, our office received community concerns, large commercial vehicles parking too close in Foster Village, creating hazardous view lines and safety issues for drivers. Representative Shimizu met with Council Member Radian Cordero to discuss potential solutions, including increased minimum parking distance from intersections to improve visibility and reduce collision risks. We are working with city officials and the Department of Transportation Services to evaluate and identify practical next steps to improve neighborhood safety. And this just in, Representative Shimizu is pleased to share that the governor's office has released $7 million in state funding for improvements to the Halava Animal Industry Facility on Oahu. The project will finance construction upgrades to the Hale Kanehoahoa building, which supports critical agriculture and animal operations statewide. These improvements will strengthen Hawaii's public infrastructure and enhance the state's capacity for agricultural safety and animal health management. Representative Shimizu extends his appreciation to the governor's administration for supporting this project, which contributes to building a more sustainable and resilient Hawaii for residents, Kahuna, and Keikua. That is all I have for you guys today. I am open to any questions.
Or any questions for Representative Shimizu? So more.
Yeah, so the town hall meeting for them was tonight.
That
October
was
9th.
one of the broadcasts.
Oh, one of the broadcasts.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that was the first one, you guys weren't able to make that one, but the next one. Okay, so all of those will be on the level channel.
Okay, so those are, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, questions for the audience, anybody have questions for Representative Shimizu? Thank you. Moving on to our presentations. First up, we have State Representative Amy Caruso regarding the legislation on harmful pesticides in Hawaii.
I have a presentation for you guys tonight, so just figuring that out really quickly. Sorry about that. My name is Olivia Eagle and I'm presenting on behalf of Representative Caruso's office and also we're working with Climate Future Forum. So we're here to present to you folks today about pesticides in Hawaii and how they affect your neighborhood and also our island. So to start off on a baseline, pesticides are substances that are designed to kill and deter pests. This can include insects, weeds, fungi, and rodents. These can be chemical, synthetic, or biological, and usually synthetic is more toxic than biological. We're also going to be focusing on general use pesticides, but more on restricted use pesticides today. And a common example of a general use pesticide is Roundup. So what are restricted use pesticides? Restricted use pesticides are different than general use pesticides because these require a certification for the purchase and use. They're most commonly sprayed in North Central and West Hawaii, and in Act 25 in 2018, the Hawaii State Legislature announced Act 25, which stated that RUPs must be reported to the Hawaii Department of Agriculture and Biosecurity, which and they also implemented 100-foot buffer zones. So some examples we have are 1,3-D and Metasodium. So in 2019, about over 175,000 pounds of 1,3-D was sprayed. 1,3-D is a groundwater contaminant and it is also a carcinogen, so it has to lead to cancer. And we also have Metasodium, which in 2019, 30,000 pounds is sprayed. This is highly prone to drift. It can drift up to a mile, and if it's inhaled, it can cause weakness, blurred vision, pupil constriction, sweating, lowering the pulse, and muscle tremor. And so here we have some exemptions to Act 45. We have neonicotinoids and experimental field trials. So neonicotinoids, also known as neonics, are currently used in Hawaii to fight the coconut rhinoceros beetle, which is an invasive species to our native pollinators and birds. These are systemic, which means that it's placed into the root or the seed of the plant instead of just sprayed on like one part of the plant. So 90% of these neonics are actually lost in soil. So it's very detrimental to the overall health of the environment and to us. And then we also have experimental field trials where chemical companies such as Monsanto, also known as Bayer, are exempted from reporting. And that overall has adverse consequences on the environment. And it's also easier for them to ignore the rules and spray larger amounts. So as you can see, Act 45 is not enough. It's a good start, but it is insufficient for our needs. The current buffer zones around schools are only a mile or only 100 feet, but metasodium can travel up to a mile. And also this nullifies the FIRPA Act, which is the Federal Insecticide, Fungicide, and Rodenticide Act, because appliers are required to put the rules on the label, but there's little oversight of that. And then also it nullifies the school buffer zones because, as stated before, metasodium can travel up to a mile, but school buffer zones are only 100 feet. And also there is no mandated environmental testing, so it's easier for companies such as Monsanto to pass it on and give it to the next person. So here we have a map for you guys. At the top is the annual form that these companies have to fill out annually. So the green boxes are what they have to fill out. This can include the county, the total usage, the active ingredient, things of that nature. And then the white boxes is what they don't have to fill out. So this is like the important stuff, the pests that they're trying to kill off, the time at which they applied, things of that nature. And so on the bottom left, we have a map of all Oahu. So you can see it is very concentrated in North Oahu as well as Central. And then on the right, we have a map of your guys' neighborhood. So there's no pesticides that were reported here in 2019, but it is still important to point out as it is they are groundwater contaminants and they're prone to drift and they're toxic and harmful. And then here is a map of the school zones. So the black dots are going to represent the actual school zones or the schools, and then the yellow circle is going to represent that buffer zone, which is 100 feet. So this is just important to point out too for our cases.
So some current ideas floating around in our office right now is to have a better, more detailed reporting system, especially because companies may be exempt from reporting, companies like Monsanto. Also, to increase buffer zones, we want to increase them up to about a quarter to half a mile, especially because methamphetamine can be traveled up to a mile. Larger fines and punishments for illegal use, classifications as neonates as an RUP, have environmental testing, and also transparency and labeling. Just because something says Hawaii grown doesn't necessarily mean it's organic, so there's maybe misinformation there. So how you can help, consider adopting resolutions. Our office has adopted a resolution and we'll be happy to share that with folks. Share your experience and testify, hosting video things like this. Sign up for emails and stay informed, contact your elected officials, and educate about pesticide use in schools. And also stand with farmers and help them transition into more locally organic practices. So Rewild Your Campus is an organization that works with schools on helping removing pesticides. They've worked specifically with Punahou High School. They helped them remove all the use of Roundup there. And this is a QR code. It will get you to their page, and you can see all the boot camps that they do. They do at least one a month. And they focus on organic land care, biodiversity, and health. And then here we also have some quick links to the HAPA website, the Hawaii Alliance to Aggressive Agents is where Mr. Regatta came from, where this presentation was made. All those map series that we pointed out earlier, that was from the HAPA website. We also have some Canva resources we made for you guys, and the actual map series website. Click an interactive map, and we can look and see where it has, or you can use that was recorded in 2019. So that is everything, and I'm open for any questions.
Where do you?
So,
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for your presentation of your Ms. Amy Caruso. A question on the certificate to use Roundup, like residentially, like the 1 gallon sprays. That not regulated?
So Roundup is classified as a general use pesticide. So no, it's not regulated. You can buy Roundup at any stores, but Roundup has shown to have environmental effects, not severe as restricted use pesticides. It's what this 1,3-D and methamphetamine was about, but yeah, it's not regulated. You can buy it at any store.
See this Act 25, and so where does it stand right now as far as enforcement?
So Act 45 stands under the Hawaii Department of Agriculture. It was created in 2018 for applicators of restricted use pesticides to start reporting annually. Right now, it only has buffer zones around schools and also that form, which is like what they kind of have to fill out every year. But the thing with that is there are a bunch of loopholes because the green is what they have to report. So that was, thank you. That was like the total use, the area treated. But then as you can see in the white, there's like some misinformation in, right? So they don't have to put the time applied. Say it was a really windy day out and maybe they didn't have to put, like they applied it in really windy conditions. I mean, those pesticides are just going everywhere, right? Yeah, because they're very, very prone to drip. So that is definitely a loophole with that.
so more second round.
First round.
My question is, so it's a great message that you're sending us.
Resolution. I'm not sure if we were able to send that to you, but I can definitely send it to you guys after this meeting. If you could just support us and maybe consider adopting our resolution, maybe next meeting, we could hold another meeting and I could be present for that as well and see if you guys might take action and support us on this. Oh, and the resolution is basically to increase those buffer zones and classify units as emergency. Yeah, it is still
Yeah.
drafted.
Audience. People, they're working.
The 43B. Do you or anything? Brad, and have information on. Meaning, the breakdown of the year. People are concerned about, especially after read, all the feedback.
Looked at under the Department of Agriculture, specifically 130B. I'm not sure what the lifetime is on that one. I know Roundup. It honestly, it depends on what time you sprayed and what the condition the soil was in. So that depends on how long that pesticide will live, even if it is a big pesticide. So yeah, it's just gonna depend on those conditions. Yeah, but it is looked at under the Department of Agriculture, specifically under the pesticides branch. So they have a bunch of monitoring that they can do for that.
I have another question. So this is my second round, but anyway, I'm learning, Okay, so this reports that are being so-called with the restricted use, it's just for the school and school areas where children are. And that's what your bill that you, or resolution that you are trying to put into it. How about like places like golf courses? Is that being looked at? Because it's a lot of the golf courses have residential areas right next to it.
I don't think that that is like golf courses specifically in the resolution, but I know like common facilities such as hospitals, libraries, that is things like that. But yeah, that's a great idea. And we are still drafting this resolution, so I would be happy with that.
Okay, because, as part of our salt lake waterway, and that, as I was advertising the waterway, it is surrounded by a golf course, the Honolulu Country Club. And so I'm not sure what exactly pesticides that they're using, or that the water is not healthy. So therefore, we're not sure about what kind of seepage. So something to consider also if you expand your.
Do you have any information pesticide 1240? No. Anybody have any other questions? Thank you. Thank you. We had another person. By regarding emergency disaster preparedness. And with this, some of the boards are getting together to get the government to get more involved in emergency disaster preparedness. With that said, I'm going to read the resolution and then we're going to discuss it as a board and take a vote. Request government officials be proactive in protecting our people from emergency disaster. Whereas the Āliamanu-Salt Lake Foster Village Airport Neighborhood Board 18 serves as a citizens advisory board dedicated to enhancing citizens' participation in government decisions as listed in the neighborhood plan. And whereas neighborhood boards are the voice of communities on Oahu, and whereas proper planning and readiness is needed now to protect the people from emergency disasters. And whereas government officials need to rise now in helping communities themselves from emergency disasters. And whereas government officials, with the help of the community, start planning by enacting laws through the legislative process regarding emergency disaster preparedness. And whereas government officials need to meet with neighborhood boards who are the voice of the people to get fresh ideas and concerns regarding climate change, emergency disaster preparedness, whether it be natural disasters or enemy missile attacks, to include state and city civil defense teams, along with the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency, along with our government leaders and politicians. And whereas protecting everyone from death or serious bodily injury from these catastrophic events are paramount. Whereas laws and policies be enacted to ensure adequate financial funding with tax incentives are in place to assist owners in their properties. And whereas cleaning of lands and waterways with the help of communities to prevent major flooding and fire is a must. Whereas a change in the building code to improve withstand Category 5 hurricanes, along with a safe space bathroom area to provide persons to shelter in place. And whereas the Neighborhood Board 8 led by Keone Dudley, Larry Beret, and others in the court system who are offering solutions to help save lives before the disaster occurred. Whereas Neighborhood Board 18 plans to participate in a joint multiple neighborhood board committed interaction group discussing shortfalls with emergency disaster preparedness currently and discussing solutions to protect our communities catastrophic events. And whereas this PIG, which is Committee Interaction Group, meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, October 22nd, 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at the Honolulu Middle School, Kapolei. And whereas this chair assigns Secretary Chandra Hanimaro to represent Neighborhood Board 18 in this permitted interaction group regarding emergency disasters preparedness. So, Foster Village Airport Neighborhood Board 18 requested the state of Hawaii and the city county of Honolulu, along with federal, state, and city legislative partners, help in the quest to save lives and property regarding emergency disaster preparedness. And be it finally resolved that copies of this resolution be transmitted to the governor, Josh Green, the mayor, Rick Langiardi, all city council members, all state senate and state house representative members, along with all neighborhood board members. With that said, would anybody else be interested in attending this meeting with Secretary Hanimaro on the board? Valdez will be the second involved in this meeting if we agree. So make a motion regarding this resolution so we can have some discussion. Anybody second a motion for discussion? Second. Okay, I'll start off since I wrote this resolution, and I think there's some merit. Initially started by other board members from different neighborhood board, especially the Makapilo neighborhood board and the pro. So I kind of like being prepared in case something does happen within the community. We're very well prepared. So they're having this meeting. I won't be in attendance, so I'll be in the meeting. So I'm having two of our board members attend to represent neighborhood board 18. With that said, any other board members want any discussion regarding this resolution before we vote?
So the bill is basically covering two things, protection against the hurricane with 5, also for wave tsunamis. Was that it? Or it's just for the waves? Storm.
It's any emergency disaster, be it natural or any type of attacks from a foreign entity or an enemy of ours. So it covers all disasters. And also, we're voting to participate in this particular resolution as far as participating with the other neighborhood boards with this permitted interaction group. So any other discussion before we take a vote? Secretary Cunningham.
Okay, let's do a roll call vote. David Gower. Jane Gower, thank you. Chandra Kanimura, aye. Joseph Omura. David Jones,
Yeah,
Douglas Fujikura. Clarence Davis. And Nancy Valdez. It's all ayes.
this resolution is adopted. I'm also adding to this resolution Nancy Valdez and Sandra Cunningham will be in attendance. Second meeting with other neighborhood boards in this permitted interaction group. You approve the minutes from September 11th meeting. Is there any changes being made as we set? None, the minutes are submitted as written. The next, Āliamanu-Salt Lake Fossil Village Airport Neighborhood Board will be on November 13th at the same venue. Right.
So, I mentioned about the Kiwi Lagoon, that there was gonna be a food distribution. There was, it was originally in September, then Hawaii Food then moved it to October. Because they're shorthanded, and they have a lot of work, they pushed it to now November, so we're doing it hopefully the fourth Saturday of every month starting November. So until then, I mean, that's the goal right now. And if anybody wants to volunteer, let me know. Thank you.
As I was stating, our next meeting will be on November 13th from 6:30 to 8:30 PM at the same venue. Or before we end this meeting, is there anything else, you need?
So forgot that. Anyway, are you gonna divide all of us into committees again, or what's the plans? I support.
Yes, sir, by November 13th, you will know what committee you're assigned to. And we'll go from, seniority down and ask you individually, make contact with all of you. So we can assign committees where they want on this board. Just before we end, sometime, just wanted to, the new board members, wanted to see what are you looking towards, or maybe a goal that to cover. Let's start with Clarence. Clarence, is there anything that you in particular want to focus on as a board member?
Thank you, Sport, Chairman. One of my biggest things, definitely I've seen the last 3 years, especially around our district areas, is pretty much with the homeless. I got a big heart for those that are homeless. I try to get as much as I can to them. I like to support as much as I can. So one of the big reasons why I actually joined the board is to get along with some outreach programs or committees that are helping out with them.
Nancy Valdez?
Thank you, Chair. What I get out of this, well, I'm hoping that I can speak up for the other people, like the community, the constituents in the community, the community. Because I like to talk to people, trust me when I say this, when I just go to the, you did something and, got any issues. But when I talk to people, as some of you may know, may not know, I ran for office, so I was talking to a lot of people. They don't, they wish that they actually had, they could have WebEx, I guess, so that they can show up. 'Cause a lot of them work at night, so they could come on and stuff like that, but I am there to speak up for them. And I guess that's just my thing, is just to be the voice for the people, and that's what I'm here for.
Firms. I'd like to present our waterway cleanup. I'd like to see that through and make sure that continues as planned.
Thank you, Bill. Okay, with that said, what is there anything else you want to bring up to this board before we end this meeting? Thank you for all attending this evening. This meeting is adjourned.